Welcome to Actual Scale Modelling. This is part 6 of Revell's AIDA cruise ship scale 1 to 400. Now in part 5 I concentrated on the aft deck and placed in some more lights. In this part I'm going to be concentrating and prepping the main deck and placing in some windows. I may get a little bit more done, but let's jump into this and see how I get on. To begin with, I'm painting some interior stairs, and the main colour is 310 Luthazo yellow, and that's for the central part of the actual step itself. For the main housing, I'm using 16 sandy yellow, Revell colour. Now the instructions are called for this part to be a wooden colour, but since there's already wood, a lot of wood colour where this part is going, I decided to just give it a different shade. And once it dry, they go in between the decks here in the middle. This is quite tricky to get them in place. It's essential that you put them in place now and not try and do it beforehand, but it may appear to be easier. It's because of the location points, and you want to get it in position so it's not going to encroach where the clear plastic is going to go. But there you go, you can see it just sitting in there now. So now that they're on, it's time to put in some of the clear windows here. They just fit in. There's a slight problem with these. They do tend to snap off the sprue. So when you're cutting them off the sprue with your side cutters, just be careful of that. I had one snap, but it looked like it was in between the actual windows, so it wasn't an issue for me, but it can happen. Here I'm using Tamiya's X19 Smoke, and this is to give a tint to some of the windows. Now I don't want to do this on all the windows. As you've seen in the past, I have been putting some tape on, but these ones I'm just giving it a tint to it. Now this paint is excellent for this scenario. So think of a vehicle, a sports car or a truck or something like that, where you have the tinted window at the top of the windscreen. This paint is excellent to achieve that look. Onto the bridge, and this is the top part of the bridge. So the first colour is Revell colour 15 yellow, just for the side parts here of the bridge. You can't really see this part, if I'm honest with you, but it's good to get it painted. Next I'm using 79 greyish blue. Now the instructions actually call for this area to be black, but I think it's too harsh a colour for an inside interior, so I'm putting in the grey colour instead. For the deck itself, it's a 310 Luthazo yellow, Revell aqua colour. Again, you may wish to paint this a brighter colour if you want it to really stand out. I would suggest if you're not lighting it up, you may want to have the brighter colour, because that way you'll see it a little bit better, I think. And the control panels is 79 greyish blue. There's no any detail in these whatsoever, they're just lumps of plastic sticking up. Again, mostly because you can't see on the other side once the unit is fitted in place, but it would be nice to have a bit of detail. So as you can see here, I'm fitting the clear parts now, and these are the parts that I used the X19 Smoke for to tint the glass. And once it's dry, and before I put it together, I'm just taking a lot of snake on the back panel of the bridge. This does allow me to place the lights in that I need and for the wires to come out. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because the light will be a different colour, as you can see there. That's a blue LED I'm placing in the thing. This is just my personal choice, it doesn't have to be blue. But once it was cut out, then I can place the top part on, and they're just sandwiched together. There's a nice little location points for them to fit in. As you can see there, I changed my mind and decided to put in a strip LED. Now it's still a blue light, the strip LED, but the reason I decided to change it was because the LED lights, the little bulbs, they were too prominent when the lights were off. You were able to see them quite prominently through the plastic, even though the plastic has been tinted. So this was the better option, and it gives me a slightly more light coverage than two little LEDs as well. And now it's all in place. I've just got a couple of clamps holding it together. It's time to do a light test to see how the coverage is. So I'm just connecting up my connection points here. If you are going to be doing this, have a look at the colour and how it's going to distribute around. As you can see there, it doesn't quite reach the edges of the bridge, but the main part of the bridge is lit. I decided to live with that. I could have got it a little bit better, but I went for it. So now I'm going on to the main deck, and I'm using Revell Aquacolor 49 Light Blue. So this is for the swimming pools and spas and so on. Now there is decals that you can place in here if you wish. I've opted just to paint. The decal I placed in on the half spa pool, I didn't quite like it. I really should have painted over. It looked like it was, like a decal placed in. It didn't look like water at all. So I've opted to paint them in instead. I'm using Revell Aquacolor 50 Light Blue. This is a different shade of light blue from the 49 obviously. And this is for the rest area around the swimming pool or spa pool. I'm using 310 Lithography Yellow for part of the deck. For the roof area, it's 99 aluminium, that's the centre part here. There's a glass dome that sits on the open part. I'm now going on to Revell Aquacolor 89 Beige, and this is just for the top of the wall that separates the rest area and the water, just to give it a bit of contrast. It calls for white, but in the photos it's a more of a sort of greyish dark light colour. I couldn't quite match the colour, but the beige is a close proximity to that colour. And then it's back to 79 greyish blue, and this is a small area to be painted here. I assume it's a work area for the crew. And then it's back to the 15 yellow for the main deck colour. And then it's a life colour LPW19 wood deck shadow. This changes the yellow to a more woody sort of colour. Now these life colours are basic washes. They're very thin down paints, which make them really good for changing the tone and shadowing your paintwork. Next to go on is the bridge, and that just gets pushed in between. A little bit tricky. It's becoming a little bit tight up there now. I decided to add some tape to the windows while I'm waiting for the bridge to dry into position. So I'm just blocking the plastic clear strips with the masking tape. So as you can see there, I'm putting in a nice set of LED strips. I pre-wired these before placing them in because of the nature of the crossover. As you can see, so there's wires getting connected in parallel to each strip. This is going to be the same on the bow part of the ship. I'm just doing the stern at the moment. So onto the bow, and just repeating the process here, putting the LED strips in, using the hot glue. Now, these LED strips do have a sticky backing to them, but I find that they don't stick all that well to the paint, and if the surface is not 100% flat, let's say. So it's wise just to use a little bit of hot glue or something similar just to keep them in position. And of course the hot glue helps isolate your contact points as well. So it acts for both ways, so it's a good reason to use the hot glue. Don't worry if it looks messy, it probably will do, but you're not going to see any of this anyway. So all that's left to do is solder everything together and then do a light test. So I'll bring the video to an end here. It's quite a good place to end it. If you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other videos and the rest of the content. Subscribe to the channel and you'll be notified of any updates, including for this build. Hit that like button and of course leave a comment. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.